upright. Apologies. Normally I do these ones on landscape. So this is our self-help, self-shelp section playlist. And this is where I'm reading extracts from books, bit by bit, adding in little bits, my own kind of take on the book. And there is a playlist on this channel for the various books that we've been doing. And today's book is Beth Kempton's Freedom Seeker, Live More, Worry Less, Do What You Love. And this is flying to fit to fly, emerging into the world and learning how to fly, taking the leap. So there are chapters 1 to 10 videos that go with this in the list if you go through, and I'm going to create separate book lists because at the moment it was just read by me, and they're kind of, those books are kind of amongst them, depending on what I felt drawn to share at the moment. Rather than an audiobook, this is more us diving in and accountability, little bite-sized books. And as I said, self-help, self-shelf, it's for those books that are on your shelf and you don't quite read them. You know you want to read, that information in there is helpful, and accountability for me, reading it to you, sharing it as well for the ADHDers out there. So we finished off at the last page 125. Freedom is the willingness and the ability to close your path and experience your life at your true self. On returning home from the art retreat, I felt a force greater than myself sweeping me towards this new way of being, towards the freedom of a more creative, inspired life, sharing myself with the world in small and big ways, because I had opened myself up, but I was terrified, feeling a little bit like there's a relevance to this in my own life. So possibly for you guys, this is about taking the leap. So taking the leap. When you're at the entrance to the cage, you get a sensation that could be either terror or excitement, two feelings that are physically very similar, but differently dictated by the lens through which through the lens. It says differently. No, excuse me. It's a dyslexic person reading, so bear with me. By the lens through which you view them. The fear response makes you shrink back. The excitement response makes you advance forward. When I discussed this with my wise friend, mindfulness expert Rohan, now there's another name, Gunatake, Gunatillake is what it says, but I'm probably mispronouncing that. Anyway, Rohan, I love that name, he reminded me that when we just escape life temporarily by taking a holiday or obliterating reality with substances, for example, we're actually free, or we are doing in turning away from the cage bars. So we cannot see them, but we are still trapped. For me, this might be a sense of things like, I think she's referring, obviously there's things like narcotics probably comes into that, but for others, that's things like mundanely doom scrolling on your phone, watching or binge watching TV, drinking alcohol, eating carbs for some, whatever that is. It might be exercising, obsessively doing things to defer from that which we are on. Hi there. So at a time like this, oh, hang on. What have I missed? So substances, for example, we are actually free. All we are doing is turning away from the cage bars so we cannot see them. We're pretending they're not there, that we are in our own cage of our own making, as we are still trapped. At a time like this, when we're trying to emerge from the cage, Rohan suggests you ask yourself, what am I open to here? The That allows you to turn yourself towards the experience rather than back from it, which subsequently allows you to opening and to change. So dare to step out of your cage. In the 2 years following that initial art retreat, I went back to the US twice for 2 other workshops and started a blog. Quit the industry I knew, started to do what I loved, ran my own retreats, created my first online course, got published in a magazine, and one day realised that everything I had scribbled in my journal under those redwoods was actually happening. I was manifesting my own dreams, but only because I had dared to step out of the cage. Bearing in mind, on my live this morning, I talked about this year is a year of expansion for me, and how can this be a year of expansion for you? It's certainly the year of disclosure, and it's the year of movement and change and action. I feel like this is why I've been drawn back to sharing this again. So dreams, but only because I had dared to step out of the cage. For a logic-loving, scientific-minded skeptic like me, this was a revelation. And if I can do it, so can you. If she can do it, so can we. So when the caterpillar metamorphoses, he isn't wasting time deciding whether to become a red admiral or a silver studded blue. His destiny as a creature capable of flight is already decided for him. That capacity is already in him, waiting to emerge. His job is simply to find a way to become it. When we have to go through this phase of everything not quite fitting, not quite making sense, in order to emerge as the extraordinary artwork that we are destined to become. Mess births beauty. Chaos is a process. When we're to quote Brendan Burchard, hence me, it's not just an audio book, me adding my little penny's worth. Brendan Burchard talks about progress mode. This year is progress mode. The collective has been in progress mode. We are in progress mode. The diamond from the carbon becoming the crystalline structure that we are becoming in a humanity. It's that